Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Status Effects Show. I'm your host, Michael Atkins, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of esports, why we made this show, and why you should care. My goal for this series is to help discuss, inform, and educate you as the viewer on various aspects and trends within the gaming and esports industries. We will do this by hosting discussions with industry professionals from all facets of the gaming and esports landscapes. First, let's answer the question, what are esports? Electronic sports, or esports in general terms, are video game sports. Organizations will compete against one another in tournaments to see who is the very best that no one ever was. But bragging rights aren't the only thing that these athletes play for. A lot of the higher profile leagues come with cash prizes for its top contenders. These range from thousands to millions depending on the popularity of the game and its competitive scene. Now, you might think it's silly that you can make millions or even a living by playing a video game, but in today's day and age, it's becoming more and more of a reality. The way we consume entertainment is forever changing through the advancement of technology and digital streaming services. So why should competitive sports be any different? In this series, we will go over the different aspects of the esports industry and how it is becoming more and more prevalent in the mainstream's eye. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today with me I have Johnathan Jordan, founder of the DFW Esports Group and esports and commercial litigation attorney at Kane Russell Coleman Logan PC. Johnathan, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So I know I just kind of told people what you do, but what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm an attorney um, in Dallas, and I'm my general background is in commercial litigation, so representing businesses in court. But for the past year and a half, I've been really trying to develop an esports practice at our firm. Um, so just I've been trying to build relationships with the industry um, and meet with as many people as I can in as many different parts of the industry as possible, and just learning about it as I go. Um, have a few clients already in the space. One small org here in Dallas. I've helped some players negotiate contracts. Um, and then we represent a couple other businesses in the space just with their general corporate work. And then we've done some IP, some one-off IP stuff for some other companies. So pretty good scope of what I've done in the past, but definitely still trying to develop this practice.
Absolutely. Well, what kind of sparked that passion? How did you get into esports, and how did you develop that passion for esports?
Yeah, so I grew up playing most of these games, League of Legends, Dota, Call of Duty, um, Halo, and I saw, especially in Dallas, that Dallas was such a hotbed for the industry. It's referred to as the second capital of esports. So I saw an opportunity for our firm to get into the space, and um, from what I had seen in Dallas specifically, the only law firms that I noticed in the space were large international law firms. And our firm is about 70 lawyers, so we're classified as kind of a mid-sized firm. And we're a full service firm, so we have lawyers who do everything from employment to general commercial work, mergers and acquisitions, immigration, real estate, litigation like me, pretty much anything you can think of. We have a lawyer who does it probably. And so I saw an opportunity, especially with the industry being so startup heavy, um, to be able to afford or be able to offer an affordable alternative for the startups and the smaller to mid-sized orgs. Because our rate structure as a mid-sized firm, our hourly rates are generally considerably lower than the rates of the larger international firms that are either in the space or getting into the space. So I saw a good opportunity for us to get in and, like I said, offer an affordable alternative and really try to help it out.
Sure, absolutely. Now you mentioned a couple of the games that you're really fond of, like League of Legends, Call of Duty, Halo, things like that. Did you ever grow up watching some of the? I believe it was Spike TV that would host like the old Halo 2 tournaments back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I watched some of the Halo stuff. Admittedly, not a whole lot.
sure.
Really only started following uh, esports really probably 2 years ago. Um, and I, I kind of, I started following it. I started doing more research into it, seeing how much it's growing and has been growing for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah.
And that's what really got me interested in it and wanting to try to develop the legal practice.
For sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, in the past 4 to 5 years, it has grown tremendously. I mean, I remember a little bit of background on how I got into esports is I used to watch those Spike TV tournaments, Halo 2, back in the day. I'd wake up Saturday morning or something, or whenever they were on, and just kind of think to myself, wow, people are playing video games on national television. Like, this is so cool. And that was back in, gosh, I don't even know, maybe 2008 era. I
Yeah.
don't quote me on that. But later on, I went to an MLG tournament, and that is when I really realized. I said, okay, this is a real thing, and I think that was back in 2011 to 2012 ish.
Yeah.
So
I was
I
gonna say
went.
I was still in high school, probably.
Yeah, so was I. So, um, but yeah, so I think it was my sophomore or junior year of high school, and I went to an MLG tournament, and just the electricity that you could feel in the air. It was at the Dallas Convention Center, and it was absolutely amazing. I even sat down and watched a game that I knew nothing about, which was StarCraft 2. And just the fans' energy when something happened on the screen, I had no idea what was going on. I was still cheering so loud. So it just creates that sort of energy that you get of a live sporting event, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it too. I mean, when you tell people, when you talk to people who aren't familiar with it, I think it's hard for them to picture it. And then when you show them videos, I mean, I've shown people of videos I've taken at live events and hearing the live commentary going on, the crowd reacting to huge plays just like they would at a football game
Absolutely.
or any other traditional sport. I mean, it's exciting and
It,
it's only getting bigger.
absolutely. I mean, that's what caught me off guard is when I went there, because I'd been to sporting events before, like traditional sporting events before, and yeah, feeling the same sort of electricity that these esports were producing, and yeah, I saw Halo, I saw fighting games like Tekken and Mortal Kombat and things like that were at this MLG, and just the versatility and the fact that everybody was so nice and everybody
Yeah.
was just there with the same type of passion. It was really exciting to see.
Well, that's the great thing about this industry right now is, especially for someone like me who's still fairly new to it and
Hmm.
is trying to get established in the industry. I mean, it's a close knit industry, but
Hmm.
if you're in it for the right reasons, then it's a very open industry. I mean, most people are willing to have a conversation with you, share their experiences, give you insights into where they think the industry is going. Um, so it's been, at least for me, it's been fairly easy to get into the industry and really learn
Yeah.
uh, about kind of growing pains that it's experienced,
Hmm.
and to get people's insights on where it's going. And that's great for me because I'm ultimately, as a lawyer, I'm going to be able to best serve clients in the industry by really knowing and being an expert in the industry. And I don't say that I'm an expert in the industry. I'm definitely still learning as I go, but I mean, the amount that I've learned over the past year or 14, 15 months is just, it's huge. I mean, my knowledge of the industry has grown exponentially. I feel like I'm getting a good grasp on the issues that the industry faces. And yeah, I mean, and I definitely feel like everyone is still in it, is right. At least right now, everyone still has the mindset that we're in this together. We're still trying to build the industry up to help it reach its potential and really build up its legitimacy. I haven't noticed a whole lot of infighting or competition really. There's still a lot of collaboration going on.
Yeah, it feels almost like a giant passion project, like a
Yeah,
multi-million-dollar passion project.
yeah,
And it's really you love to see something like that because people, like you said, are in it for the right reasons at this point, and it's not this whole greed factor, these corporations and things like that. Yes, there are corporations and organizations and things, but it just feels like this giant passion project, which is amazing. And
yeah. And I'm getting caught up in it too. I mean, I'm in the industry, and yes, my goal is to develop a legal practice and develop clients. But I mean, really, what I've been doing for the past year and a half is, like I said, been really trying to just build relationships, and then whoever I connect with, I'm always trying to get them connected with someone else, and that was one of the reasons why I started the DFW Esports group. But the value that I've been finding that I'm providing so far is my ability to connect people, whether it be startups with potential investors or
sure.
just companies with other companies in the space to foster collaboration. That's where the value is that I've been providing so far. Uh,
Nice. So
and that's really exciting to me because I'm I really want to not only develop a legal practice, but really kind of form a reputation as a business leader in the industry, someone who's really helping it grow, not just on the legal side, but in general. And that's kind of where I've been going so far.
absolutely. Well, that's amazing, and I think you've done a great job. I mean, a little bit of background for the viewers on how Johnathan and I met. We both went to an in-game leaders conference that was hosted at Arlington, so Esports Stadium Arlington, and that is where I kind of reignited my passion for esports in the industry. I've always been a huge gamer. I've gamed all my life. Um, we share a lot of the same video games that we love: Call of Duty, Halo, things like that. But really, the in-game leaders conference was a very good igniter for my passion, and I learned so much there and all the different aspects. There's so many different roles that go into an esports organization or just the whole esports industry in general. So yeah, basically Johnathan and I don't think we even met at the conference, did we?
I don't think so.
No. So I heard from Justin, who's with DreamHack. I met him, and he goes, "Yeah, a bunch of us are going out for drinks later. Do you want to stop by and chill with us?" And I said, that I don't know, man. I don't want to impose things like that. And then I went home and thought about it, and I texted him later, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's just go. I mean, this community seems like it's very open, and let's just go ahead and do this and see what happens." So yeah, I came to the first DFW esports meeting, and I don't even think we talked very much at that first initial meeting either.
Nope.
I think we ended up connecting at the second meeting,
Yeah.
and that's when we sort of got to talking about the mission and the idea and things that you were doing. But how about you explain a little bit of why you why you started, the DFW Esports group, and what kind of drove that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I've noticed that the value that I've been able to provide so far as I've been in the industry has been my ability to connect people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to create a group within the DFW esports community, with all of my connections, so that people can connect in person and hopefully connect and be able to work together, outside of the group or outside of the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, and you mentioned Justin. I actually got the idea from Justin because I want to say spring of last year, he hosted a happy hour that was going to be kind of a quarterly happy hour for his connections in the DFW esports community. And he's extremely busy, and I think that was the only one that happened. So I kind of wanted to pick up where he had started.
Oh, okay.
Really just create a group for business professionals in the industry in the DFW area, to be able to connect. And it's a much bigger group of business professionals than you would expect. I mean, we all know of Complexity and Envy. Those are the two big orgs in Dallas,
Right.
but so much else going on outside of that. And I guess Optic Gaming formerly,
Yeah.
they were under Infinite before they were sold. Um, but there's so much more going on outside of just the orgs that are getting the publicity and are more in the limelight. There are a bunch of people working in the background, agencies, advertisement, influencer agencies, advertisement agencies,
Mm-hmm.
lawyers like me, insurance professionals, accountants. I mean, you think of any profession, there's going to be someone in Dallas who's getting involved in the esports industry.
Absolutely.
Um, so I wanted to create this group, and the first meetup was in December, and it was just me and five other guys, two of my clients, and then three other guys that I know pretty well in the industry. And then the next one was in January, got up to I think 15 people. I think that's the one that you came to.
Yes.
The group pretty much doubled in size.
Yeah.
Then we had one in February and March, and the March one we had 25 people there. So it's been growing consistently, and unfortunately we've had to stop them with the coronavirus now. But I'm hoping when all this dies down, we'll be able to get it going again and pick up where we left off, because it really was gaining a lot of momentum. And since the coronavirus stuff started, I've still been connecting with more and more people.
Mm-hmm.
The esports community in Dallas, and have invited them to come when we start back up. And I think it's going to keep growing and be even bigger when we start it back up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of people. I've told people who are interested in gaming and things like that, and people who are wanting to get in the industry, like myself. There was a gentleman that I spoke to. He has a sort of like a physical therapy practice, and he was trying to explore the options within esports, because I mean, there's this controversy whether or not esports athletes are traditional athletes, but I mean, I think we can agree that it's both mental and physical. It takes a toll on an esports athlete. So he was looking at focusing his practice possibly in the esports industry, because it's something that I think he's passionate about as well. But I told him about our group, and he was thrilled to see that something was happening and that people were talking and trying to network. And he was saying he was going to reach out to you. I don't know if he ever did.
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay.
But, and I mean, just in the four meetups that we've had, I've already heard success stories.
Oh yeah.
Who went and were able to work together outside of it. Words, and it's I mean, that's enough sign for me to keep it going. And I mean, the DFW esports group that I created on LinkedIn with everyone who has either come or has expressed interest in coming, that group's up to 60 to 65 people, I think, right now. So I mean, if we can get everyone there at the same time, it would be massive.
Oh yeah.
But I'm hoping to be able to keep it consistently at least 20 in attendance, because there's a great variety of people who are showing up.
Yeah.
And I think there's plenty of opportunity for people to connect and have more success stories.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely made a connection while I was there, and I'm collabing with somebody that I met there now, and coronavirus is kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? it's kind of halted the process a bit,
Yeah.
but it's halting a lot of people's processes right now. So we're just trying to figure it out. And I know you mentioned that you wanted to continue it back up with or after the coronavirus dies down. Is there sort of a time frame that you're thinking about doing that, or just kind of wait and watch sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm waiting and watching right now. I know technically stuff's starting to open back up in
Yeah.
May or today in Dallas,
Yeah.
which I don't know how I feel about that, but
Uh,
I don't think it'll start back up until at least June. And we were starting to do it the first Wednesday of every month. So I'll start reevaluating kind of towards the end of the month to see if we can get something going. And I've also been flirting with the idea of a virtual uh, meetup.
yeah.
I don't know how that would work.
I was
So
gonna mention that too, and see if that was a possibility or if it would just be too chaotic.
I'm thinking it would be too chaotic.
Okay.
Um, so I think I'm going to wait till we can get it back in person, and then I'm going to keep. In the meantime, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing and connecting with people and referring people to other people and making connections that way. Um, but I'm hopeful we can get it the actual meetup started back up. Hopefully June, probably July, realistically. Um,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I definitely I would definitely love to see it open back up, but I understand the caution because, like you said, I mean, stuff is opening back up today, and I'm very cautious about that right now. I'm still distancing myself. I'm still just saying, all right, maybe. I mean, we'll see how this test run goes because that's basically what it is. It's a test run, and
yeah.
let's hope for the best. Um,
I mean, the other thing about the meetups is I've gotten great feedback from, like I said, we've gotten success stories. I've gotten great feedback from everyone who showed up, and I've also, when I post about the meetups on LinkedIn or Twitter, um, I'm getting feedback from people in other states, from some of my connections, like in Tampa or Atlanta or in Houston, where they're saying that they wish someone would do something like this in their cities.
yeah.
So I there are plenty of opportunities for these growing communities, business communities within the industry in different parts of the country to start popping back up or start popping up. So I'm hopeful this will. I know it inspired you to do this. I'm hoping it'll
Yeah.
inspire other people to start doing it in other states as well.
Absolutely. I think this mixed with the in-game leaders and things like that. I mean, this so the in-game leaders was a great starting point, and then this going to this meeting every single month and meeting these people who are just as passionate as I am about the industry. That is what's kept it going. So I think yeah, if we can get people in other states, or rather, if you can organize um, these sort of things and get people involved in other states and help it grow across the nation or even worldwide, I mean, that's that's something that is amazing. So yeah, I mean that's kind of that's kind of the goal, right? Is spread the industry, spread the word, and try and help it grow. So that's amazing. Speaking of that, I mean, where do you? I know coronavirus is kind of a hiccup in a lot of different industries. It's shutting down industries, and while esports hasn't been totally affected by it, or it hasn't had a complete shutdown, I should say. Um, where do you see the industry kind of in the next 5 years, given that the state of the world goes back to normal in the next couple months?
Yeah, I mean, I think the coronavirus stuff, even though it has affected the industry, has slowed down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually probably good for the industry because people are really starting to see how this industry, especially, can weather something like this and keep going. Um, so I think there's more positive that can come um, out of the virus situation with the industry. But I mean, in the next 5 years, I mean, I think this industry, I think esports is here to stay. I do think it still needs to become more sophisticated in that I think, and there are obviously exceptions to this, but I think orgs need to continue to learn how to become more profitable. And I mean, the exceptions like 100 Thieves, FaZe Clan, who are like, but a lot of orgs, I mean, the majority of orgs are not profitable,
Hmm.
right? So I think learning how to diversify um, and comparing it to traditional sports, the one of the main reasons why they're not as profitable is because they're missing a major um, portion of revenue, which would be ticket sales,
Hmm.
which is a huge part of traditional sports teams' revenue. So it's a matter of orgs really learning how to diversify, build up their brands, and be profitable so that they can be sustainable in the industry as the industry continues to grow and evolve. And I think um, orgs that are just focusing on being just strictly competing, nothing else, they're not going to survive. I mean, the orgs have to have content creators, um, merchandising, and it's all about building up their brand, like I said. And I think you're going to see more small to mid-size orgs merging um, in the coming years to survive. Um, I think that's definitely on the horizon. But again, I mean, I think it's here to stay, and my developing a legal practice is very much a long term goal. It's I'm not pressuring myself to develop clients right now because I think there's so much potential for this industry that it's all a long term play. Anyone who comes into the industry wanting to just make a quick buck, they may be able to do that, but that's not the reason to get into the industry. I mean,
No.
it's going to keep growing, and there are going to be plenty of opportunities over the coming years to really to build it up and be successful in it. So I view the industry as a long term project, and that's how I'm viewing my building up my legal practice as well.
Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, you want the longevity. You don't just want to make a quick buck and try and get out, because that's not what this industry is about. I mean, it's about the passion of people who love to play video games, love to watch video games, and just kind of marrying the two. And yeah, in this series, I want to explore all the different aspects of what goes into an organization, what goes into the industry, and kind of take a deep dive and look at all the different roles that play into it, and sort of how people can get involved, an educational tool, and how we can even get people in schools involved. I know there was a speaker at the in-game leaders conference who was actually, I believe, tech. I can't remember what he was in charge of, but I do know that he was trying to get video game and esports as sort of an after school
Mm-hmm.
extracurricular, which I think would be amazing. And I think a lot of people would be very interested in to see
Yeah,
how it works.
and I mean there are guys here in Dallas who are really trying to do that right now. You got Andrew Cooley with Esports Performance Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're really helping get it into the schools all over the state, and Danny Martin with Geek Leets is really helping with that as well. So I mean, those would be great guys for you to have on here and talk with as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would love to.
but yeah, I mean, there's going to be no shortage of people for you, especially here in Dallas, to talk with, and I think you're going to get some great insights and be able to cover a lot of different topics.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's the goal, is just to educate people and to try and take a deep dive into this new and exciting industry. So, and people who want to learn, I definitely want to help teach with the guests that I have, and I'd love to have you back on for sort of a more legally focused episode, if maybe we can schedule that sometime later down the road.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
cool. Well, yeah, I think that's gonna about wrap it up for the show. Do you have anything else that you want to add before I wrap everything up?
No, I mean, if people want to learn more about me or connect with me, I'm really active on LinkedIn. Just look me up, Johnathan Jordan. Um, and our firm's website is krcl.com, so people can look at my profile, see what I'm doing, and look at all the other lawyers in our firm, see what our firm does. I'm starting to get more active on Twitter as well, so people can follow me on there. I'm not as active on it on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get better about that, but LinkedIn is still my primary platform right now. I've got an eFuse profile as well. Need to get better about using that one. But yeah, I'd love to be back on, talk more specifically about the legal side of things and what I've done and some of the issues. But I'm excited about what you're doing with this and looking forward to seeing some great content.
Thank you so much. I'm excited that you got to come on the show and that you've been so supportive, not only for myself and my projects, but towards the industry and trying to get people together and to network people who really want to make this make something great. Well, that about wraps up our show today. I'd like to thank Johnathan for being here and sharing his insight on the industry as well as why he started the DFW Esports group. As I said, this series is meant to educate the viewers, so if there's a topic that you'd like to see covered, make sure to put that down in the comments below. Or if you have a suggestion, put that down below too. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.